Hi guys and welcome to Desi Dutch. This is your host Amjay at day 15. So it's been 2 weeks and we're still going hard. I think I've only skipped a few days. So I have a very special guest with me today. He's from Italy. It's Bilal Usman, who is going to be telling us how it is going on in the center of in the epicenter of the whole problem, and how he's dealing with it, how if he has any knowledge about how Italy is dealing with it, and furthermore. So without any further ado, I would like to give the mic to Bilal Usman. Bilal Usman, welcome to the Desi Dutch.
Thank you, Andre. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, you're absolutely right. Italy is the epicenter of the coronavirus right now. But at the moment, like I am based in L'Aquila. I've already finished I'm pursuing my master's in applied math here. And L'Aquila, Italy was just the location for my first semester. I'm supposed to be in Hamburg, Germany by now.
Oh,
Yeah, I was supposed to leave Italy 2 weeks ago, and our flights were canceled because, like, I don't know if that's lucky or what. You are in day 15. We are in day 24 of the lockdown right now. Yeah. So
and how's it going? Like, how is it feeling? Day 24, that seems really far away.
yeah, in L'Aquila, it's still quite okay. As in life hasn't stopped because L'Aquila is a small town. Total inhabitants around 70,000 only, and most of them have already left back to their hometowns because it's a university town mostly.
Okay.
So in that sense, I don't think it was affected that much. Last I heard, there were around 100 cases max in the city throughout the throughout the pandemic, and there are only around 10 to 12 cases left right now. No deaths, all recoveries. So which is
Wow.
I'm very grateful to God that happened. And the region that I'm in, it's called Abruzzo. Of course, when I came here, I was very excited because it's marketed as the greenest region in Europe.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like tourism and everything, it's kind of untouched. So when the coronavirus epidemic hit, of course, I was sad for the rest of Italy, but I was kind of excited that, okay, if the lockdowns are not imposed here, if they are only in North Italy, I will probably get to hike or go to the mountains. But then about 10 days later, the lockdowns came to us as well. And now it has spread to the whole world.
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone is panicking. Everyone is if they're not panicking, then they're coming up with conspiracy theories, right? This is all it's everyone to everybody. It just seems
Yeah,
something else. So because everyone has a lot of assumptions about everything, all we know about Italy is the fact that it has the oldest population in the world by percentage, and it is
yes,
I think
that's true.
yeah, and I think by median age as well, it comes like third or fourth after Japan and Germany, I guess. So
I think so too. Yes, you're absolutely. It is in
yeah,
the top 10. I know that
yes.
for sure.
So
Yes.
plausible explanation is the fact that Italy was hit so hard was because there are a lot of old people there and there was not a lot of
Yes.
care taken. So how is the Italy government doing right now? If you're following any news, just not in your neighborhood, but in general, because the news coming out of Italy is really bad. The prime minister is really trying his best, trying to make people understand, but not many people are taking this seriously. How bad is it right now?
Mm, I think they have started taking it seriously in the last week or
Yeah.
two because the prime minister is still using what you can say very conservative words, but the other politicians, especially the mayors of different cities, they have gone berserk. They have gone all out. And they are literally saying profanities, which is unheard of on national television, national media.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I think that's pretty much in line with the Italian culture. They are a very expressive people, and of course, they like to connect with you on a very personal and intimate level. The way we greet people here is kissing on the cheeks,
Yeah.
which has probably contributed to spreading it so quickly.
Definitely, it could be.
Um, Other than that, I think the way they are handling it is can be exemplary. We're not seeing it now because the numbers keep on increasing. But in due time, they will see that Italy was probably right to impose the lockdown so quickly. Because if they didn't, the way we were so chill in the beginning of March, um, if right now they had been chill, I think all of us would have the coronavirus as well.
Probably.
They were very proactive in imposing the lockdowns. Even now, when we have to go out to get groceries, the policemen, like, there's a very high likelihood the policemen will catch us and just check. Like, they don't harass you,
Yes.
but they are patrolling the streets more often,
Yeah,
a lot.
definitely. It's happening everywhere now. I think in Italy there's a fine if you come out if there is
Yes.
no reason besides grocery or something.
The one communication we had from the university was there's a fine of 206, but now it has been increased to 500 something,
Yeah,
which I don't
definitely.
know is official or not, but still 200
Eh,
euros is a lot as well.
it's official. Even in all over Europe, this is happening. A friend of mine was in France. He's also studying there, and he also talked about how there's a fine of 400 euros if you're outside more than 1 kilometer radius of your place. You
Hmm.
get a fine because if for necessities you don't need to be out more than 1 kilometer away from
That's
your
true.
house,
That's true.
right, in a radius environment. There must
Yes.
be a store nearby. And other than that, in Holland as well, if more than two people are hanging out now, the third person,
Mhm.
then you get a fine of more than 300 or 200 euros. So everyone is taking it seriously. Now you're saying Italy was proactive in this. There's some debate that they say Italy was actually not proactive because they were a little bit late. In Holland,
Yes.
lockdown started 2 weeks ago, and here people are saying that this was also a little late. Although by when the 2 weeks ago, the right now cases are 13,000 in Holland, and the deaths
Hmm.
are close to 1,000, a little bit more,
I
right?
think the best example of a country imposing it very late is America, where it's still not imposed. We
And
already
did
see the numbers.
they
They
passed
are
China, they
nearing to
passed Italy.
200,000 right now.
Yeah, they're passing everybody
Yes.
now, and obviously the
So,
failure in terms of infrastructure in failure of governance in USA is just. I think it's out of scope for even having a conversation, right? Because
yes.
you can try, but it falls on deaf ears, at least for me.
Yeah.
So I like to keep the conversation with us in Europe because
Yep. Yep.
here
Yep.
the biggest problem here that's happening is that the borders are being shared now. Borders have been closed, right? Lockdowns have been imposed, but there's still no
Yeah.
sign of anything stopping for some weird reason. So, what are your thoughts on that? Why do you think that's happening?
I think it's all down to the virus and how it actually spreads. Like, it has an incubation time of 2 to 14 days, we know, and 14 days means that even if on the 14th day you came in contact with somebody, they will carry on it on for theoretically another 14
14
days.
days, yes.
So, if this isolation was being carried out long ago in Europe, like most of Europe imposed the lockdowns, I think not more than 10 days ago, around 10 to 12 days ago, most of the Europe was locked down.
Yes,
So I
yes,
think
easy.
the numbers, what we like, everybody is walking a walking statistician right now. They keep saying like everybody is looking to flatten the curve. It will flatten, like,
in its
eventually,
in its own
but
time.
within a week or two.
Yeah, in its own
So I
time because
think, I, yeah.
yeah, you're saying?
So like we start, most of the precautions are just general good habits. It's nothing special really, except wearing the mask, and even then that is debatable right now. Like, a lot of people, my doctor friends, they keep telling me don't wear masks. Back
Average
in
people are
Malaysia, my friends
saying
in Pakistan, they say wear masks. So I'm
it's
like, I'm in
fine.
my house, I don't need to do anything,
Definitely.
I'm
I,
fine.
I think I agree with you because the funny part is for me, it was amazing to see one doctor friend of mine, an acquaintance on Facebook.
Yeah.
He shared research about how countries where people are wearing masks has a more flatter curve than countries which don't, right? So he showed the coronavirus the cases by time graph. And you can
Yeah.
see South Korea,
Yeah.
Japan, and Hong Kong, Taiwan are on the lower side, while everyone else is on the top side. So they said
Mhm.
these countries wear masks, right? These countries don't. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that it could be plausible. Yes, it could be plausible. But the next comment he shares is that stop buying masks. It's not enough to buy for healthcare workers. It's not enough for healthcare workers. Why are you guys using it for your own
Oh,
needs?
yeah.
And I'm like, you just said that mask helps, and then you're saying, why are you buying masks? So you are, according to me, you are part of the problem because you are trying
Yeah.
to make people believe that masks help. They don't help. World Health Organization articles state they didn't help. Uh, there were some report by the epidemiologist, the White House epidemiologist. I wouldn't know how to pronounce
Mhm.
his name. He also said there's no point in wearing masks. All you need to do is maintain your distance and wash your hands regularly, and that's all you need to
Yes.
do, right? But
Yes, I think that's true. Like, this is all we can do right now.
yeah,
And just doing this, dramatically decreases your chances of having, like, receiving or spreading corona.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
now you said you're doing math, and you talked about how everyone is a walking statistician, and
Yes.
how that amazing way you explained about how 14 days, even on the 14th day, you try to come in contact with
Yes.
someone, that's another 14 days, that's how it's spreading. So I have a good math, uh, you can say, limerick for you. And I heard it today, and now because you're a math major, so it's more fun to say this. So like,
Mhm.
if you have the flu, you might contaminate
Yes.
1.4 people by being in close proximity to them, right? This is called the
That.
R naught, right? The R naught in
Okay.
the medical
All right.
industry. So for every one person, they can infect 1.4 people, right? And if each
Yes.
of them do the same in a chain of 10 generations, the virus that is originated from you will have infected about 30 people.
That's
If
true.
5% of them require hospitalization, then about 2 people, rounding up obviously, will end up in the hospital. In contrast, if you have coronavirus,
Okay.
your R naught comes to 3. That's double of the flu,
Yeah.
right? So if you contaminate 3 over 10 generation, that virus goes up to how much? 59,000 people.
I
59,000
yeah. Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
right?
You're absolutely correct. Yes.
Imagine, yeah. And then if 5% of them require hospitalization, that's about 3,000 people, right?
Yes.
Compare 3 people to
And this
3,000
is
people.
what actually happened. This is what actually happened in the Milan region. Like, most of them, they are the doctors were overwhelmed. They
Yeah,
couldn't handle what was coming in. Some of my friends, they sent me videos from the US. Uh, their friends are doctors, and all they said were very simple things, but they touch you so much you get emotional. All the doctors are saying is, please stay at home. It is getting very difficult. These two sentences, but they're said with so much emotion because the doctors are drained.
yeah, definitely.
Big shout out to all of them. What they're doing is amazing. I respect and completely support what they're doing. But it seems like the rest of us are probably not doing our part. You and I, we might be trying, but there is no awareness in the
Definitely.
masses.
And like
So,
it's just weird, to be
mhm,
honest. You move it to let's try to move the conversation towards Pakistan, because we both are Desis, we
mhm,
both have families living abroad.
yes,
Today I just saw news about a Russian drive in Qaidabad in Karachi. I'm from Karachi. I don't know where you're from in
I was
Pakistan.
born in Karachi, but I stayed in Lahore
Oh,
mostly.
you stayed in
Now
Lahore.
my family is staying in Islamabad.
Okay, so in Karachi, in Qaidabad, there's a relatively lower income area. There
Yes.
was a Russian drive, and there was a video of thousands of people walking towards that Russian drive, literally in close
Mhm.
proximity. And the person was like,
Yes.
"Is this a lockdown? And what are the police doing?" But to be honest, what can the police do if you have thousands and thousands of people joining
Yeah.
together to find Russian? How much will you lathi charge them? How much will you try to explain them? Sometimes it's just awareness is not enough for people
Yes.
of like that stature, in the sense that for them virus is not visible, and if something is not visible, it's not a problem. But hunger is visible. The child
Yes.
inside your house is crying for food is visible. So they will
That
go
is true.
out. Yeah, they would rather be like, okay, virus will kill us in 10 days, food hunger will kill us tomorrow.
Mhm.
We prefer to do that at hand, right? So the government is trying their best to try to mitigate the situation by announcing relief packages and ration drives and everything, but it's been very difficult. What are your thoughts on how we should be handling this the Pakistani way?
I do agree with the problems you stated, but I will actually stick to the awareness part in the sense that if a human dies, that's kind of irreversible. With the economic layout, that's that is still reversible. So if somebody is not making money, like, instead of going out every day, they could choose to go out once a week at least. That would mitigate it somewhat. But our people, they actually don't listen. Like, somebody, a pharmacist, I remember, a pseudo pharmacist, I'll call him now, he declared, I have the vaccine for corona. 500 people gathered, like, in Sadr. It happened in Karachi, I think. Why would anybody do that? Like, if, like, cutting edge researchers are saying in September we will start having trials, September is still a few months away, like half a year away.
Easy, yeah.
Why would you go to a local pharmacist? And he was just like a totka, but like, he was a hakim, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there are a lot of
So
hakims that are here, right?
yes. So I know they're trying to give hope, but false hope doesn't do much. Most of us are going through our first pandemic. Our fathers, our grandfathers never went through anything like this.
Yeah,
This is very
definitely.
new. The last proper pandemic was the Spanish flu, which was 100 years ago.
Yeah, at least for us. But even the Spanish flu
Yes,
wasn't not for us because there has
yes,
been a lot of outbreaks about Ebola and SARS
yes.
happening in different regions.
Ebola, Zika, SARS, MERS also.
Yeah,
Most of these were just news items for us. We were
yeah.
not actually affected.
And now we're being affected, but it's very difficult.
Yes,
I think I'm going to push back on what you said, that when a person dies, it's irreversible, and when the economy is dying, it's reversible, yes. But I don't think they really care about the economy per se, as that the business should not stop working. I think they care about the more fact that their children might die of hunger, right? So that's an emotion that you cannot describe either to someone, right? If I tell you, okay, hey, you know what,
yes,
i
that
know
is
i
true.
know i know your children are hungry and they're going to be sick and they're going to be very weary because of all of this, but you need to understand that you can't go out. And that's where the government has to help in that. Try to have somewhere, like I have friends who are doing ration drives because the government cannot play their part. Now the government cannot play their part or won't play their part or is not playing their part is a very different argument, right? I don't need to
Yes,
get into that. I need to, for the fact that they're not doing it right now, or they can't even if
that's
they
true. That's
had the
true.
resources, they won't be able to manage. It's 250 million people, right? It's not a joke.
Yes,
It's 250 million people. It's
yes,
not
it is a lot of
yeah,
people.
it's a
Yes,
lot of people, and you cannot, and especially the kind of nature, as you said, you made a really nice contrast. That's why I wanted to take your opinion on this, because Italians are expressive and we Pakistanis, there's a lot of similarities between the two cultures. We're very expressive as well. We're very touchy as well with each other all the time.
yes,
We're also all the time like against the institution, not believing what the institution is saying. So everyone is saying keep in
that's true.
lockdown. We're not believing it. We still want to go out. I have a friend of mine who's educated, and he's like, you know what, I have to go to work, and his work is in a building. He's like, I'm just gonna be in my building, and I'm like, why do you need to work? And he's like, what else can I do? Our culture has been based on two
Yeah,
things: work and chai. There's nothing else that our culture is based on, you know. So you have work and then you have chai. There's nothing else that you have to do.
yes,
There's
that's
nothing
true.
else you
That's
can
true.
do. And for chai, you have to go out. At least for us guys, you have to go out, and you can't do that.
Yes.
Work is stopped for people who are entrepreneurs. At least for the people who are working from home, that's great, but people who are not working from home, it's stopped. My brother just told me today that he watched 3 movies yesterday night. He's like,
Yeah,
what do
I
I
can
do?
totally relate to that. Yes,
Yeah, so it's just completely weird how it's all going on and how families are adjusting to it. So like my families is adjusting, that's why watching too many movies. uh Being away from your family, it's gonna be, it has to be difficult. And plus you're in Italy, so your family must be more worried about you than in turn you're worried about them, because the news that they're hearing all the time, they must call you like, oh, Bilal, be careful, don't go out, don't go out. So tell us a little bit about that. How are you maintaining the distance and all the problems that are coming with it?
actually, I do have very contrasting stories in this also. My father and I, we are very close and we are very friendly because he has been a single parent for a long time.
Okay.
So the day we were locked down, he didn't know. So when I was talking to him, he asked me simply, "You're gonna be okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna be okay." And then he asked me, "Are you sure you're gonna be okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna be okay." And then he said, "Okay."
Oh,
So
okay.
he believed me when I said, "Yeah, everything is fine where I am specifically." But the moment he told everyone, and within 2 3 days, I got calls from people who didn't even say goodbye when I left Pakistan, and that was kind of surprising and very like heartwarming.
Definitely. I think that's a
People
positive way to
are
look at
worried.
it. Yeah.
People are worried because this could escalate to a life and death issue. For most families, it already has. But for us who are not really affected, what I do is I just give them a word of support. I encourage them to actually exercise precaution. And coming from a guy in Italy, they listen more now.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I do
So
understand that.
that actually helps. So I am a Pathan. So in my village back in Pakistan, it's a small village, Zarobi, very close to Mardan. So over there, even after they banned Friday prayers, people still gathered and went to Friday prayers. And
Doesn't
I
make
had
sense.
a really long argument with my cousin, who was one of the 200 people who gathered in the mosque. And I was like, why would you go out? Like when Makkah and Medina, they are vacated, like that's not stopping. What will you do in your mosque? Like, what's going to happen? So he kind of had no response, and we had to knock some sense into the people.
Yeah, it's very difficult,
If
to be honest.
push
How,
comes to shove, we have to do that.
but how is it ever
Because
working? Is it working with you guys?
um, with my family,
Family and
yeah,
your
yeah,
family
they are in
friends. Yeah.
lockdown. They were in lockdown 2 days before Pakistan went into lockdown, before
Okay.
Imran Khan announced the lockdown. So they
Mm,
were quite safe. So far, I haven't heard anybody in my family getting infected,
okay.
not even in my friends. So they are kind of proactive. But still, the numbers in Pakistan, I'm glad they are not increasing that much. But that hope comes with a silver lining because we don't have testing kits as well.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, but that
there's
could be
no
said
way
for
for them to
everybody,
go up.
right? But that could be said for
Yes.
everybody all around the world. Right now, the cases
Yes.
officially are 800,000. But a friend of mine also said, like in the podcast, that easily it's above a million, easily, because we just don't
Oh,
have
it's going to
testing
go
kits.
above a million within this week.
No, no, not even
Like
go.
it's
Like,
already 900,000 right
yeah,
now.
but that's again, that's tested, right? That's tested and reported cases.
Yes,
He's saying that
that's
in
true.
general, easy, it's above a million, because we just don't have
Yes.
the ability to test people. And like countries like India, countries like Pakistan, where you have a combined population of 1.5
Mm.
billion people, you don't have testing kits, right? It's bound to get a
Yep.
little bit difficult with the numbers that you're getting. So let's move back the conversation
Yes.
to you, Bilal. You're in Italy. It's
Hmm.
in lockdown. It's day 24. I want to know how you're doing it,
Okay.
because it's been 15 for me, and this podcast is the only thing that gets me up in the morning, so that I'm like, okay, I have something else to look forward to. I am working. I am working. But this
Mhm.
podcast is also like a refresher, because I get to talk to people all the time. That's my social contact that I get.
Yeah.
But how are you handling it? It's 24 days. Walk us through it.
Um, I have gone for weekends to friends who live close by.
Okay.
So um, I like we have just ensured that our gathering doesn't go more than 6 people, which is the limit in Italy.
Yeah. Okay.
So that tells you how sociable they are. Like even in a time like this, the social gathering limit is not 2 people or one person;
It's six.
it's six.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's compared to Northern Europe. Like here, it's not a lot
Yes.
more than three people. I think it's a very big
And
cultural shift.
yeah, so I do keep in touch with my friends who are around, just checking in how they're doing. And still, like we go out only once or twice a week maximum. And
Okay.
because one of the problems here is we have to get vegetables fresh.
Yeah.
Like the perishables, because it's Italy, they don't buy any genetically modified foods or whatever. Everything is just so fresh. We have to go get it every third or fourth day.
Okay.
Like it doesn't survive longer than that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it must be the same in Netherlands as well. Like,
Yeah.
you may have to go for vegetable shopping at least once a week.
Yeah. Yeah. But
That's
that's
essential.
that's your choice, right? Here you have the GMOs and you have the canned food. So if you like want to go into like post-apocalyptic lockdown, you can get all that canned food, and then you can just
Yes.
stay inside. But I prefer fresh food, and there is no
But
lockdown here. Yeah.
the first day of the lockdown, I came to know it was Italy was locked down on the evening of March 10th. So on the evening of March 10th, I went out and there were no onions left. Like
Yeah.
it's a hilarious comment, but there were no onions left in the whole city. Like I went to 5 markets
Yeah.
and there were none. But I'm glad the Italian government actually handled this well. There is no shortage of food, at least not yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Definitely.
it is very much under control so far. And again, I can't speak for the badly affected regions that are Milan and Venice. The North Italy, one third of Italy is pretty much having 90% of the cases.
Yeah.
And so far, even Rome has close to 1,000 cases, none of which, like very few are critical. Less than 5% are critical.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So it's
in
very
that sense,
concentrated in one area.
yes, in that sense, it is kind of encouraging, but still we continue to exercise precautions. Our lockdown is supposed to end day after tomorrow. but
Yeah.
in all likelihood, it will be
Well,
extended by 2 more weeks.
ours just got extended yesterday. So our lockdown was supposed to be till 6th April. Yesterday, the Prime Minister came to the national TV and he said, okay, this is all going to go up till 28th April. But everyone has already realized this is going to go up till June 1st.
Hmm.
Easy. All the companies are taking that into account in their losses. And my company is also like already accounting for losses. And because it's easy 75% reduction in our revenue, right? Because it's a car business, people are not driving, right? so
That's
it,
true.
it is bound to hit you, but the benefit here the companies get from the government is that economic financial support, that so that they don't lay you off. So we are not being laid off, we're being just asked to stay at home. We're going to ask for tax credits from the government anyways, because
Okay.
there's no other way for us to handle this. Same with Canada, the people are getting money from the government. UK, US, people are getting money from the government.
Yes.
Everywhere around the world is happening. I think even in Italy, rents are forgiven, utilities are
Not
forgiven.
yet, not yet, but it is kind of expected soon.
Oh, okay, it's not yet because that story's been going
Not
on for
yet.
like 2 weeks or something.
No, no, no. Rents are not forgiven in the sense like only people who are employed. This applies to them. The economic stimulus packages only apply to them.
Okay, okay. So
Not everybody.
you being a student, it does not apply.
Yes.
Yeah, but generally it's
Yes.
already in effect, right? That's what I wanted to know.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
even in
okay.
Pakistan, the stimulus package is in excess of a trillion rupees.
Yeah.
And this was very surprising for me. Like, how did we get that kind of money? We didn't have
I'm
it,
I'm also shocked
but
where did
still,
they get it from.
it
Yeah.
is there. 1.2 trillion, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, yeah, something around that.
Yes.
But the funny part is where they using it, because you don't see the Russian drives are still handled by the NGOs, the Russian drives, and my brother is also involved in a Russian drive, and that's how they're
Mhm.
distributing. We haven't seen any government initiative yet. So where is that money
Yeah.
going? Like 1.2 trillion, you did announce it to the world, you did do everything, but again,
No,
that's the
it's for
same.
the whole period, actually. That money is for the whole period.
Yeah, that's true,
It's
but
not just one time injection into the economy.
oh,
It will
okay,
be throughout the period. And I don't know how they're mobilizing the forces because my some of my family members, they are in the the CSP, Civil
yeah,
Security Service. And the Foreign Service, they are asked to stay home because they are non-essential workers.
yeah,
So the police service also, the officers, they are not going to their offices every day. So even the district management group, they are staying at home.
yeah,
So I know that's a good thing to do. Doing nothing is the right thing to do right now.
yeah, yeah.
But these are the people who will drive all of these policies and changes, maybe even on the phone calls. But so far, what I know, you are absolutely right. Nothing is instructed as well.
Yeah, because as we said, we can bring this conversation back to what we talked about before, right? The biggest problem here is that people are not exercising precaution because they just worried about the food, the safety.
Yes.
They're like, we have to come out of our house. If there was a proper way that the food will come to them, or maybe to their
Yes.
region, like to an area where they can just go and get it, then no one will need to
Mhm.
come out in herds and try to take over some Russian drive that's happening, right? Because it's
Yes.
happening all over the place. Like we recently, this video went viral about this guy who tried to distribute money because we, like in all honesty, something I'm really
Mhm.
proud of our country, not just the country but in our culture, is that the people have really big hearts. Even in a time of
Yes.
crisis, those who are rich are trying to do their best. So some people get off in the middle of the road, try to give money, try to distribute Russian, and the biggest problem that happens is everybody just jumps on them, right? We saw a video
Yes.
of one guy being, actually we can call it attacked, got attacked
Mhm.
by like 20, 30 people, all of them like jumping around and asking for money and money. What he did was, in the end, he got so scared he just threw the money in the air, and everyone just kind of dispersed into trying to get the money, and then he just ran back to his car. Even if you're trying to help somebody, these kind of
Yes.
things, there's no one to blame here, not the people who are hungry and tired and weary that they're jumping that person, or that person for trying to do something nice. It's just, this is
Yeah,
things which
that's
the
true.
establishment has to do, not us. The establishment, the government has to maintain this kind of integrity. Yes, we can't do this. Like, you can't expect one
It's
guy to just go on the road and try to do this, because everybody's going to go crazy, right?
That's absolutely true. Like I totally agree with that. But these are issues that I can't really comment also
Yeah, I get that,
how
I
to
get.
solve. There is these are very difficult to solve anyway.
Yeah, and being just two guys who are talking,
Yeah.
it's not even our place to say
Yeah.
anything, right? These are just
Yeah.
facts that are happening, and we're just giving our 2 cents onto it, hoping that, okay, maybe we can make sense of it, because that's all we can do. While sitting in your own house,
Yes.
you just get, your mind goes to places, and you're just like, okay, how do I think I would have tackled this? You role play in your mind, and you just go like, okay, i
Yes,
would i
yes,
would
that's
have
true.
tackled this. Yeah, that's the only thing you can do. Nothing more than that. But that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Like, so how do you pass your time? You go out for groceries, okay, you have to get food once a week or something like that, but this is your 24th day. And if you like me, you're
Yes, day 24.
brainstorming.
I am kind of fortunate because I do freelance. I write on the side.
Yes.
So my client is a travel blogger. So I'm one of his three staff writers.
Okay.
So right now, working is not a problem. Like I still work on my own schedule.
Yeah.
So it's mostly a vacation with like a little bit of work.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. But passing time is mostly connecting with people.
Yeah.
Like this is like a big part of my day now because
Yeah.
I can't go out and meet people. We are doing lots and lots of video chats, calls, and
Any
I
particular
used to be a
games?
teacher.
Oh,
I used to be a teacher before this, so I did run a few online classes for the teachers. I was a teacher back in Malaysia,
okay.
so I ran a few online classes, like anything to keep yourself busy.
Oh yeah, I understand. I
And
understand. But
if it's productive, if it helps people, then it's good.
it's something better than
What
nothing.
what
Yeah.
I heard in Pakistan, what happened was like all the classes below grade 8, they are automatically promoted to the next class.
I wish that was
So
for us.
now in all of Punjab, this has already happened
yeah.
because they are planning to lock it down until mid May at least.
Yeah. Yeah. So the exams, everything is gonna be gone. Same happened here with the high school.
Hmm.
Obviously there's like a countrywide standardized test that you have to give for admission to
Yes,
universities. That also happens here. That's cancelled. So now your school and your teachers, what they decide to give you is going to be the grade, right? So they're passing it
right.
faster. They're not making people wait for it. Most of our universities are went online. The exams are postponed
Mm.
till till end of May, hoping this all blows over by then. But I don't know how
I
that's
hope
gonna.
so too.
I doubt it, to be honest. It's a very
Yes,
frank opinion of mine that at least your 2020 will be filled with a lot of corona in it. So half
this is how
half of
pandemics work. They
half
do
of
last a long time.
yeah, half of the year at least, like at least till July. I'm hoping it does go over, but till July, I can feel that it's gonna be here, and that means 24 plus. I think 100 days more. So I don't know how you're gonna handle it. I don't know how I'm gonna
I
handle
don't
it.
know
To be
also.
honest, yeah,
I hope our classes start online because right now our semester is postponed until the 20th of April.
yeah,
And I keep checking flights, but there are no flights available
yeah, yeah, yeah.
to fly out of Italy. So even if we go to Germany, somehow we will be quarantined there for about 14
14
days.
days, easy. But did you talk to your university about this? That is there
Yeah,
a way
yeah,
to,
we are in touch with them,
yeah.
and they are also they don't know what to do as well.
It is a
So
first. It is a first in a lot of things that's
yes,
happening here. So how are you passing your time besides all of that? Like, what I mean by that
I bought
is,
a flute. I bought a flute.
oh, you bought a
Like,
flute.
I was not a music person, but I did get a flute.
Oh,
So I have only practiced and given up on it 3 times so far. But
I I tried that with a guitar 5 years ago. Couldn't do it.
yes,
I'm not a guitar type person, I guess, in the end.
no, but now is probably the best time to pick up a hobby like that, which requires lots and lots of practice.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree
Of
with you.
course, I do watch Netflix is a big takes
Yeah,
a big
that's what I
chunk of
basically
my time.
wanted to ask. Stuff like that. What are you watching? What are you
Yes.
listening?
Um, the music playlist is anything on my phone. It just
Yeah,
keeps on playing the whole
yeah.
time. But if a few friends who live close to in the next few buildings, if they come over, like we do gather for dinner, never more than six again.
Oh, that's still better than what we're going through right now. So I live alone. All right.
Yeah,
And I don't have anybody over because
that's also good. Like we can chat more. Like of course, Aman, like our mutual friend, like, he
yeah,
lives very close by.
yeah, but
Like I normally go for a weekend over at their place, and sometimes
it's
they come
it's
over.
it's yeah, but it's funny because like you think of it's so locked down and like it's so bad, then you see videos of all how people are in their galleries playing music for other people because they're so isolated. But you're
Oh
telling
yes,
me,
that is almost a daily thing at one of our friends' houses, and everybody does come out on balconies every day. It happens at 6 p.m.
yeah, but like you're saying that you can still be allowed to be six people together, and you are a lot of times, like at least you said twice or thrice a week, you guys do get together, right? So
About 2 times,
two
yes.
times.
Twice
So the
is great. Yes.
isolation part of the whole isolation, at least mentally speaking, it might not be that hard. For example,
It's
here,
not that hard. Yes, you're
yeah,
absolutely right.
yeah,
My friend in Germany, he's in Freiburg. It's
mm,
all the way in the south somewhere.
yeah,
So he actually cannot go out even for groceries. He has to like apply for something and then he goes out
yeah,
with
yeah.
that online printed document. And I asked him like, what if somebody doesn't have a printer? What will that person do? He says, I don't know. And right now, I couldn't care less. I understand, but still,
It
like there are
happens.
people who may be going through this problem as well.
Yeah, I think I've talked to a friend of mine who's in Bochum near Cologne. I think it's near Cologne in the
Mhm.
west of Germany, and I talked to him when it was 1 week in this into this
Mhm.
quarantine, and I asked him, and he said, "I haven't been out for 1 week. No one can come over. I cannot. I'm not out." So that's the real isolation because you're just too much like into you within yourself. Like I have a really good friend of mine. She has her mom. She lives with her mom. So whenever
Mhm.
she visits, she's the only one who visits me. So because she visits me, I do not let anybody else visit us because if I do get any positive person next to me or any even asymptotic person next to me, and I get the virus, and because of that she gets it, and because of that her
Yeah,
mom gets it.
you could be a carrier. You could be the medium. Yes,
Yeah,
that's true.
and just for her mom, not for her, because relatively, okay, it's easy to say that okay, young people don't get it. We're getting a lot of claims about how young people are also getting it a lot, but for us, our
Mhm.
main concern is her mother, right? We need to
Yes.
be really, really careful with this. So I'm locked down 14 days. Only I see her like once a week max, and
Mhm.
that's it. That's why these things come up that I'm talking to people and like, hey, tell me how your quarantine is going because I frankly I have nothing else that I can do. I am working. I play my PS4 every now and then. I am also watching a lot of Netflix. I've never watched this much Netflix ever, as much as I have.
Yes.
But yeah, this is how it's all going. So thank you so much for your time, Bilal. It was a lot of fun
Wonderful,
talking to
wonderful.
you.
And
So do you
you
have
just
any?
reminded me of another thing
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
do. We are playing Dota more than ever.
Oh, really? Oh, we're playing Football
Yes.
Manager. Me-
I play FIFA actually.
Yeah, me and my
Yes.
friend plays a lot of Football Manager. I play FIFA as well. I have a PS4 for that, but he's more of a tactical guy. He's doing his masters in sports management. No, not sports management, but in coaching in Spain.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, yeah, he's doing a really tactical master, so he's learning how to probably be a coach. So he tells me, "Let's go on FM," and then I have to go play with him on Football Manager. Obviously, he beats me because he knows more about the game than I do, and I just know FIFA. I know how to control the players. I don't know how the tactics work. So
Yeah.
I think I faced him 4 times already, and I've lost on all 4 times. Home away doesn't matter. I just lose to him every
That's
single time.
okay. Your first time will come eventually.
Oh,
Yes.
I did beat him first. Then I stopped the season right there. I was like, you know what?
Uh,
I win this game. I shared it on all our social medias to all of our mutual friends, and I was like, look, he lost 3-0 to me. This Emma, the coach, lost 3-0 to me. So it was a lot of fun to post about that.
that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
But yeah, it was wonderful talking to you, Bilal. I hope you stick it through, and I hope you're not as lonely as I initially thought you would be. So that's a good thing for me to know that in Italy people are still getting a little bit together, and it's still better than what people actually have expectations of, and that's what I want people to listen from this. The takeaway from this conversation should be that okay, they're trying the best, they're handling it well, but it's really not that bad. At least in your particular case in your city, it's really not that bad. So it's a good glance into the reality which is happening because news tries to overinflate about everything, right? Everything that's happening, it's extra, it's negative. Even psychologists are telling these days that you should stay away from corona news because it's gonna have a negative impact on you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's true. Thank you so much for the kind words. Likewise, I hope the same for you. Like, of course, we can connect as well more
Yeah,
often.
definitely.
Um, the thing is, what the news is doing, it can have the desired effect. Like, even if we are paranoid, actually staying in is the right thing to do. From the first time the lockdown was imposed to now, we have reduced the number of times we meet. Of course, Zoom, Skype, these are the go-to methods now.
Yeah.
Even if we visit for dinner or lunch or things like that, we take precautions. Like, everybody is desanitizing everything, cleaning it up, actually washing hands for 20 seconds, which is amazing.
These
Like,
are good habits, right? These are
these
habits.
are essential. These are good habits.
Yeah.
Just general good habits.
Yeah. And that's
Like,
something
we
we
were
should
having
have.
a conversation the other day that why wash hands for 20 seconds, and then we thought our hands have four sides,
Yeah.
and 3 seconds per side is the usual. And it actually does take 20
Yeah.
seconds if you wash them properly.
Yeah, definitely. Instead of just doing this, I'm a culprit of this. What I do,
Yeah,
and I used to do a lot, is when I eat and stuff like that, or when I touch
just
something,
the fingertips.
just the fingertips, right? So you just do this in the water, and then you take a little bit of soap and you do this again in the water, and you're done. The rest of your whole palm is completely dry, and just your fingertips are moist. And it's just good, like, you know what? It's doing its job, right? It's doing its job, but apparently
Yes.
it isn't, right? We have to really wash
Yes.
it
Oh,
properly.
one very interesting positive outlook that came out of this. Um, the most powerful man in the world doesn't think climate change is real, but we are actually having snow. It snowed in the morning today. We are having snow in spring,
Oh, really?
which
That's
is quite amazing, because Italy's climate. Italy is the center of not just the coronavirus. It used to be the center of pollution in Europe as well.
yeah, I've heard.
Yes. So it has gone down by a large margin. Big numbers
Yeah,
have
yeah,
gone down.
yeah.
And we
I
can
know.
see that the pollution is going down and wildlife is returning to. Venice is actually the center of this thing. That
Yeah, yeah,
wildlife, the water is very clear. Boats are not running anymore. Wildlife has actually returned to all the major landmarks which were filled with humans. And one of my friends had a very interesting comment on this. He says, "Yeah, the animals are finally coming out to go to their human zoo." I was
yeah.
like, "Yeah, that's actually true."
Yeah, I think it sadly pays in terms of environmental cost. It pays a lot to stay at home, in the sense that the benefits a lot to stay at home. And as you said, in China, NASA actually reported saying that in China the pollution is so clear now that you can actually see China from space now. Before that, you could never see China from space. There would be a smog
Hmm.
on top of China. So whenever you try to take pictures of China from the International Space Station, or maybe you wanted to look from the International Space Station, NASA said that China was always vague to see because of all the manufacturing happening there. It was a smog. And now, because China was in lockdown for 3 months at least, I think 12 weeks, uh, it cleared up that you can see them now properly. You can see
Yeah,
the major industrial cities around the world. You can see them from space now because their factories were stopped.
and that's amazing. That's amazing.
It,
That
it, it,
it has actually happened within a space of a month or 2 months.
Imagine how big of a difference it
One
makes.
month ago, I didn't think people could work from home like they're doing now. It
Well,
has
yeah,
happened so fast.
yeah,
And
yeah.
of course, that goes on to prove that humans are actually capable of anything, including solving the climate problem.
Definitely, there's been a lot of
Yes.
stuff that people have been
So
talking
we just
about.
need to put our minds and efforts to it. That's
Yeah,
all. And
definitely.
I hope it comes to fruition, because um, Donald Trump, of course, I don't know how we keep getting to that, but because he controls the largest economy in the world. So,
Yeah,
and look how they're doing. I think more lessons to be learned from there. Italy will be a very good case study in the years to come.
yeah,
And I actually think they are handling it as best as they can.
yeah. Of course, you need
Just
resources.
that the factors are totally against them. The equation is just not in their favor at all.
Yeah,
And our peak for our statistic peak was, I think, March 21. So March 21 was the largest number of new cases.
yeah.
So it actually goes on to prove that it has
Peak.
peaked
Yeah. Now,
so
hopefully, it's just
far.
going down. Yeah,
But yeah, but just the number of new cases are going down.
yeah. Yeah, but
So
that's
it's
that's
still, the number is creeping up, but slowly,
yeah, but
which
that's
is encouraging right
like
now.
that's the whole point of the flattening the curve, right? The whole concept of
Yes,
flattening the curve is the fact that there are
yes,
going to be new cases all the
exactly.
time. It just needs to be spread out in such a way that the infrastructure can handle it.
Yeah,
And now
the
if you
hospitals can handle it. Yes,
exactly, and now the peak is going like I just saw Germany has 70,000 cases. There they only have
yes,
700 deaths. All right, they're
yes.
they're handling it very well for some weird reason. I've read articles about it.
There's actually, if you do check out the statistics, most of the cases which are critical in Italy are old people.
Yeah, yeah,
And
definitely.
actually, there's an explanation for most of the things,
Yeah,
but we actually just look at the main
main
number.
number. Yeah, of course, and
And
that's
when all is said and done, I think Italy will. The measures they are taking, they might be what inspire measures that are taken everywhere else in the world.
I think so. I think so that too. I
So
think
I hope they manage to contain this
yeah, hopefully.
sooner than 100 days. 100 days is very gloomy, actually. Yeah,
Yeah, hopefully. And if not, you always have a place to come back to this
yeah.
podcast, discuss your updates because this is gonna hopefully this is gonna go on till the lockdown goes on. Once the lockdown is lifted, then this series ends. So I don't know what to root for. To
Then
root
this
for
is
the fact
something
that
wonderful you're doing.
I don't
I,
want to I don't know what to root for.
I think this is no, no. This is something very wonderful that you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're doing this, and of course, if you share the link, I'm not on Facebook or Instagram, so I do save a lot of time there as well. So
That's
if you share the link, I will make sure I blast it out on WhatsApp and
oh, that's great.
start following your podcast.
Of course, that's great to hear. Thank you so much for your time, and
Yeah.
hopefully, we'll get
Well,
to hear good news from your side.
thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you so much for your kind words, and thank you all for listening. I hope you had as much as the same amount of fun I had talking to Bilal about Italy, as much as I think Bilal also did. And I hope that you guys are now more clear about what's happening inside Italy, because it's really good to hear about like the scenario from the ground zero point of view, what the person who's there. And I hope to be here tomorrow for day 16. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.